Hi, I am Ariel, and I am a founder of Joyful Presence. It's that online, we are an online meditation and healing school. And we offer many courses and gatherings and groups. If you're interested in that, please go to joyfulpresence.com. But today I'm coming on to share some inspiration or to shed some light on frequency and energy. And I think that is a really essential part of who we are, that everything is energy. And that at a certain point in our life, we decide to not be a victim of energy or of frequencies, but to hold, to create, and to cultivate and hold our light, our essence so strongly that we actually are shifting the energy. We become an alchemist of the energy. And that has been with us since that came in with us. That is our potential. Our potential is always to shift the energy into an expansive, loving, to tune in to that frequency that is within everything, that united force of love. Our potential in each moment is to know ourselves as that, and through that knowing, we express that through everything we do. And we dance with the energy of life. And we become guided by that energy that we know ourselves as, that essential frequency of love. That frequency that was before we learned vocabulary, before we learned how to label the world, but before we learned how to perceive the world, before we carried millions of memories and ideas about ourselves and others, that essential frequency of love has always been there. And it is what ignites the joy within us. It is what brings us peace and happiness. And it's not a stagnant energy. It's not an energy that just sits back. It's an actual moving, expansive force. It is the energy that propels the seed to sprout, the flower to bloom, and then the flower to let go, and the seeds to fall, and for the seeds to cultivate again, and for the whole process to happen all over again. That is this transformational force of love, which is at the heart of everything. And when we tune into that in ourselves, we discover our joy, we discover our potential, and we also become guided and propelled by the force of our heart rather than filtered through an illusion of the mind, rather than living through a filter of the illusion of the mind. We unite who we are, this little portal of awareness, with the awareness of all that is. So some things that help me throughout my day is pay attention to the energy, pay attention to the frequency, and become really accountable for what you hold. And so we can hold thoughts, we can hold experiences, we can hold perceptions, ideas, projections, needs, desires. We can hold a whole array of things close to us. We need to ask ourselves, are these essential to who I am? And if they're not, you're going to use that force of love to let them go. So say a thought comes in, oh, you're not successful, or you have a difficult time in relationships, or anything like that. Any number one of those thoughts. That force of love is going to allow that thought to come in and to flow out. But the force of living through the illusion, which is really a trained way of living in our life, will pull that thought close to us and then believe that we are that thing, that we are unworthy. We're not just experiencing a temporary unworthy thought about us being unworthy, but we are actually that thing. We are actually believe we are unworthy. But what is essential to us is what is there, what remains, what is not temporary. So as a being that comes into this earth as a little baby, that essential essence, the love of creation, of growth, of the even idea of the baby coming in, of a soul coming in. That essential essence is love. And so when you bring things into your field, or things are coming into your experience, only bring them close if it is activating your awareness of the love of who you are. If there's an energetic awakening, it's bringing an awakening that you are a being of love amongst all else. Simply. And that love has infinite potential to expand and grow, transform, uplift. So be very careful with what you watch on the news, with conversations, with holding an assumption about somebody, having an expectation of somebody to bring you that feeling. Everything is energy. So everything that we pull, that either is arising or that we're actively pulling in, is an energy. It's an energetic exchange, and that energy is either going to expand you open. It's your awareness is going to open to who you really are, or it's going to filter that awareness, which makes us feel there's a lot of suffering that goes along with that. And it's not that we're seeking an eternal state of some fluffy happiness. When you know yourself as a being of love, you can see that there's suffering. You can see that you may have done things that were harmful to yourself or others. You can see others, perhaps, in their suffering. It's not that you're denying or discarding it or saying it's not real. It's that there's this transformational force of compassion and love rather than a limiting filter that you are bound by that temporary perception, that temporary emotion. That filter evaporates. And so each day, each moment, we want to be aware of whether you can just check in with yourself. Do I know myself right now, my essential nature, as a being of love? Even though I may have made a mistake, or, it doesn't matter what it is, but do I know myself as that? And if you don't, kind of scan what's going on with you. There may be some things you need to face. There may be some patterns that you've been holding. But be willing to sit with them in silence and to let them go. Let that suffering, let that limited momentary perception ignite you into being aware of who you really are. So that's all for today, but I hope this energetic exchange has inspired you to know yourself as your true potential, as who you really are, who you've always been. And when we know our essential nature, we interact in the world in a space, in a frequency of unity and love, which is not only healing to ourselves, but it's healing to everyone we interact with. It's healing to the planet and the earth. So consider this message a little bit and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And till next time, thank you.